Hello, hello, hello. Today is the 5th of January, and I have had an amazing day so far. It's been busy because it's the first of the year, and I work in healthcare, so it's always busy the first 2 to 3 months of the year. I mean, knockdown busy, so that's expected. But I heard something today that was so healing for me. Like things have just been popping up, like videos on YouTube, things on TikTok. Just things have been popping up to really, for me, it feels like it's a sign saying you're going in the right direction. You were spot on the whole time. You just needed to learn the spiritual part of it all. And what I mean is that I used to X people out of my life for negative reasons. Uh, this is what I would think. Oh, you full of shit. You not trustworthy. Um, you don't have any integrity. Basically, I say you're a liar. You flaky. I can't. You run too hot and cold. I don't like this. I don't like that. I notice some things about you. I don't like that. I used to dislike people from that standpoint, or I would cut them off, or kind of X them out of my life with that type of thinking. Well, now the type of thinking that I have today is more of an alignment type of thinking. We're not aligned. I had a friend that I had to stop being friends with her, and the truth is that she was unhappy in her life. She was unhappy in her relationship. And I found myself as being her friend, feeling like, oh, that is awful that he's like that. So I started taking the place of her man. So me and her was going out to eat. Me and her was going over here. We was going everywhere. If anything come up, her birthday, anything, I'm buying her gifts. She's my friend, but she does have a man. And I found myself compensating where he wasn't, just so that she can be happy. And that was not my job. It was not my job at all. And how I know it was my job, because she grew resentful of me for doing that. She felt like, just because you got money, you trying to rub it in my face. And I'm like, first of all, I don't have no money like that. I make a working wage like everybody else. Probably a little bit above, but definitely not rich. Um, I just, my overhead is not large, if that makes sense. I don't do hair, nails, all that. I do all that stuff myself. I'm not paying lean to drive a Maserati to do my nails when I can sit in my own comfort of my home and do my nails. But that's just me. That's nobody else. But she grew resentful of it. And I've come to learn, when you are not aligned with something, like if you're overgiving, if you're trying to be a savior, all those things will cause another person to have resentment towards you, because you are not aligned with what you're doing. You're out of line. That's not your job. You're out of alignment. So I got to a point in my life that I was doing a little push and pull, and this was in 2024. Yeah, 2024. So we're doing push and pulling, push and pulling, push and pulling. I have did everything to show you that I don't like how you treat me. Like, I have been starkly quiet when we're around other people. I have been, like when she overtalks me in front of people, I've been starkly quiet. Or if she kind of makes fun of my pain, I'll look at her like, then I start mirroring her behavior back to her. And one day we was on the couch and she was like, "Are you aware that stuff hurts me that you do?" And I was like, "Oh, do it really? Do it really?" I said, "Stop dishing it out and you won't have to take it." And the God inside, when I say everything inside of me, I mean the God inside kept saying, your friendship has Your friendship is sealed. You're trying to revive something that's gone. But when she's in a good place, she's like one of the best people on earth. And yes, she has some flaws. Yeah, we all have flaws. But man, I'm telling you, when I tell you one of the best people on earth. But when unhappy, or at that point, I had never seen her that unhappy before. She was just, she couldn't see it. She couldn't see how she was unhappy, so she wanted to make everybody else miserable with her. Really bad mood swings. And I just was like, look, I got to get out this friendship. She became a manager, and I told her, I was proud of her, but there are some things you got to do if you want to be in management, because now people are going to see you, going to know who you are, like live and living color. And so I would tell her, you want to dress for the part. You want to act the part. You want to dress for the part. She was a manager of a high rise in Midtown. And I said, when you're around these kind of people, you have to dress a certain way. You have to act a certain way, because they have to trust you, for one, and they have to know not to challenge you every time you say something, because one, you're a woman, and two, you're black. Okay, with people paying $5,000 in rent every month. And that went from DAs to law enforcement, news anchors, all type of thing. College coaches, like college kids, high-ranking college kids, stuff like that. So cooks, like celebrity chefs and stuff like that. Those were the clientele of where she lived, and influencers and things like that. So you gotta kind of get well-rounded on what the mixture of the population that you have and how to speak to people. And I was just telling her those things, and of course she didn't listen. So she didn't have a job a whole year before they was forcing her out. And they told her in a meeting, everything that I told her. That she didn't listen. And then she got angry with me and frustrated with me and just went off on me. And I was like, I'm going to take that. But I'm not going to take nothing else. So boom, that was the end of the friendship. Then I had another friend that was very close to me. Me and this friend were cool. But I started seeing some things about this friend. She asked me to come out to kickball to help because she wanted to play, and I would take score. Okay, fine. So I did that. And then I kind of saw some tension there, rooted in jealousy. Now, I'm saying to myself, what happened was, it was a certain guy who liked me, whom I didn't know she liked him. I didn't know that until him and I got to talking more and more and more. And then in the middle of it, he told me. I said, oh, that never came up. But I noticed after him and I started talking how she changed. I saw that. But I'm like, it wasn't no, we finna fall in love and get married and that kind of thing. So to me, I'm not thinking much of it. Cool, we hanging out, we kicking it. But I just didn't see it going too much further because there's some things I started to notice that I knew wasn't going to be beneficial for me. So I kept it light, and that's what we kept it. So I noticed some change. So then she asked me to help her with football, with registration. I said yes. So I came out, helped with registration. And it seemed to get more and more complex during the process. But every time I would stay from start to finish. So Mr. Marcus, who's over the football league, asked me would I help. And I said, sure, I'll help. And he told me what he wanted me to do, and I told him I had no experience in it. He said, but God, you seem so smart. You catch on, and the kids like you. And the parents, don't mind, expressing themselves to you. And I was like, okay. But her and our personalities are different. So I noticed as more and more things started to happen, she became more and more cruel to me. And I was like, why are you doing that? The same jealousy I saw before, I saw this time just on 10. Okay. I see it coming because I've always tell you that I have audio and clairvoyance, right? I'm a seer. I can see and I can hear. But it don't the seeing and the hearing, these are observations, like I've said, and this is where you see and hear, right? So I am seeing where this is rooted at. I am seeing where it's coming from. And I'm steady saying, friend. Because she wanted to be the head of the league. Okay? Give me a minute.
Oh, okay.
So she wanted to be the head of the league, and she really thought she was going to be. And then all of a sudden, that fell apart. I didn't have nothing to do with that. I just was privy to what was being said in the background. Now, these people, she say they supposed to be cool, but they are telling this man, if she run this league, we leaving. We're not, no, she can't run this league. We are leaving. Like, all of them said that. So he could not pull back like he wanted to, right? So me and him because he's trying to train me. I'm trying to learn from him. But he's also have a lot going on because he's a real businessman. Like, this man got Subways and all kind of businesses, rent houses and all kind of stuff going on in the city of Houston. So he's just not in one place. He's in a lot of places, So he's training me, especially from a phone. Hey, look at this, do this, go here, do this. And I'm saying, hey, and I'm going to do this stuff, and they're getting aggravated with me. We never did this before. So when Mr. Marcus told me that, well, why would he say? I don't know. Well, I come to learn. They didn't think he was watching, but he was. He just couldn't address it all because he has to be in several places. So when I came along, he was telling me where to look. And he knew if I saw it, I'm going to address it. And so that's what I was starting to do. So it just worked on her nerves. And it just got to the point one time she was just like, I fucking hate you. And I'm like, huh? And it was right near my birthday last year. And I was like, what? Completely confused. And that time that happened, me and old boy was going through some things near my birthday too. So it was just, and then it was the first birthday without my mama. It was a lot in 2024. 2023 was my first birthday without my mom. But 2024 was a hard one. Oh, it was a hard one. Anyway, hella depressed, hella sad. Oh my God, I was just not in a good space. And she was telling people things, saying things about me like I'm this man's mistress, all type of things she was saying about me. And I was like, wow. And she was trying to get me to get into it with the people of the league. And I knew it was coming from. And I would tell them, if it's a problem you have with me, let's just address the problem. But this is a problem that comes from somebody else, then you need to go take that problem back to them. Because if that's not the action that I'm showing you, but you are choosing to believe something else, then your problem ain't with me. Your problem is with the person that's bringing this bone to you. You need to go back to them and ask them questions, because you can't ask me questions or make a problem where I don't have one. Okay? And so the lady acted like she didn't want to listen, and I had to say, hey, I know who's putting the key in your back, lady, and you too old for that. Now, if you're going to let somebody put a key in your back to get your ass cussed out, bring it on. Bring it on. Now, I know y'all, they see me as a little bougie and a little refined and proper. But, baby, I would cuss the shoes off your fucking feet. Don't play with me. Not like that. So, once I had to go there with it, it went too far. So, the president of the league, he got us both together, took us out. He was like, I want to mend your friendship. I says, baby, it's nothing men. And I let her know in front of him, you know damn well. You've been saying this and doing this. And the reason why I eat them up, because I knew you were putting them up to that. You will put them up to that because you know me. But you better stop trying me. Do you understand that? Because the friend that once loved you is the friend now that don't give a shit. Stop trying me for it be your ass. Because the Misty everybody else know, you can get introduced to her too. And that's real nigga shit. So after that, she had to back up. Because she knew. So, yeah. So, after that, I just stayed to myself. And 2024 was like on my neck. I was like, oh my God. I felt like since my mom died, like everything that I knew was normal had fell apart. And I was like, God, why? Why? I kept asking, why? Why? And the God inside kept saying, you're asking the wrong question. Yep. And now I know I was asking the wrong question. Right? So when my mom died, I knew how I acted at her funeral, that I needed to separate from people. I needed to isolate because I was not doing well. So I only gave certain people access to my life. And all those people I gave access to my life are no longer in my life. I only carved out specific access for certain people whom I loved and whom I thought loved me. And all of those people are no longer in my life. 2025 brought a medical issue where I couldn't walk. And the doctor didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. And I really just didn't think I would ever walk again. I felt like my mobility was gone. I was like, oh my God. But people showed me who they were in my life. And I didn't, instead of villainizing them and make them a villain, I just said they don't have the capacity. I had a cousin which I loved dearly. And I didn't know what was going on. And I would cry to her. And she'd be like, oh, girl, hold on. This is my husband. And she would put me on a hold and never come back to the phone. And we never got back to check on me. And she did that probably about that third time she did it. I said, okay, Misty. And it's not that I hate her. I love her to death. It's just, if I need you to show up for me and you don't, I can't villainize you. All I can say is you just didn't have the capacity to show up. But do I leave access for you with me? No, I take it away. And that's not, and I'm not doing that out of dislike for anybody, but I am doing it out of respect for myself. I don't want to self-abandon by letting people in my life who could care less. People know I'm not a crier. So if I am crying for any reason, that is alarm for people to say, hey, something's wrong because she don't cry. But I feel like people that care about you will care. And not saying that in an unloving way, because the truth is she could be going through something in her life. The truth is she could have a lot going on in her life. And she just don't have the time to stomach what I got going on and what she got going on. That may be the truth. But what's also the truth is that I'm not giving access to me for a person to treat me like they don't care. I'm not granting access to that. And maybe one day she would have the capacity to care. It just ain't today. And I have to get myself together. Because at the end of the day, I still have to be a mother to this kid in this house. I still have to get up and go to work. I still have to pay bills in this house. Everything reoccurs. Like my life doesn't stop just because I'm hurt. But I did get to see how people really felt about me. And 2025, baby, dragged me by my edges. Do you hear me? It took me through there. It took me down a road I just didn't want to go. But in the beginning of the next year, if I had to look back on who I was January of 2025 and to who I am in January 2026, that's a whole different person, which I am grateful. I got taken there because I also learned some things about myself. I learned what I needed, how I needed, what it looks like to me. I'm entitled to what I feel. I am worthy to feel what I need to feel. I am worthy of wanting to be important to somebody. I am worthy to be a priority to somebody. I am worthy of somebody showing love to me, which I give freely to everybody. So I have to make sure that I know that the decisions I'm making to not allow people in my life, it's not coming from this harsh, aggressive, mean, angry place. No, it's coming from a place of straight love. I love you. My friends, I love them. I love them. It's just we were outgrowing each other, and that was that about that. Losing my mother kind of, like, people who still had their mother would never understand what losing your mother feel like. And these two ladies, they don't really care for their mothers. And I keep saying, yeah, I remember I was there where I didn't care for my mom. I was there where I didn't care for her at all. But I had to realize what I was disliking in my mom was because I didn't have enough life experience to understand. Yelling when life start putting the muscle and the stanky leg on you, you'll understand why your mama made some decisions she made, especially if she ain't have no resource or the capacity to know any different. Hell, I think we know a lot different than what our mothers knew. So a lot of responsibility, I feel, do fall on us because we have more access to shit. That's just me. Anywho. But I'm thankful for the journey. I'm thankful for being drugged through. Because so much of me, I see things a lot different now. And I see how lack of worthiness and boundaries and self-love was taking me down a path that's just looping and patterning, loops, patterning. Same people, different faces. Same situation, different cases. Same. It was loops and patterns and loops and patterns. And I do believe I've been able to jump out the loop and to cut the pattern. That's just what I believe. And every day I'm going to keep putting my best foot forward to not loop and not pattern. I'm going to put my best foot forward to pay attention to my own thoughts and pay attention to my own actions to make sure they are not looping and they are not patterning, because I am not repeating any more cycles. This is a fresh cycle for me. And I'm going to start it off with everything that have came before to teach me better. And that's where I'm going to stay. And that's where I'm going to be going forward. So 2026 will be the start of my best years. Every year after 2026 and every year after will be my best year. Because I will unlearn things and I will learn new things. Every year I'm going to unlearn things, learn new things. Unlearn things, learn new things. Every year. So I will make sure every year is a better year than the year before. And I hope whoever comes across this, I hope this helps somebody when you're struggling and looping and patterning in life, that at some point you're going to have to look at yourself, because you're the simulation. You're going to have to cut the simulation off and rewire yourself. And that's work. But it's work that will improve your life for the better, that you'll never regret. You'll never look back on these years with regret. You will only look back on them and have empathy for yourself, because you were ignorant. And you made ignorant decisions. You chose people who were a part of a pattern in your life and not part of love. But you wanted to love them, but they were part of a pattern. So I do believe going forward, everything that I can think of, I'm a will to be true for myself. And I'm going to keep talking about it. And every day is healing. Because every day I keep getting up and say what I'm not going to repeat. Because I take full accountability and responsibility for me, my actions, and my thoughts. And that's on me, or not on nobody else. Namaste.